talk about these recent QAnon posts that have completely gone viral around the net, and we'll get to that in a second. First, welcome back, Corey. How are you?
Doing well. How about you?
Life is good, man. You know, this is a truth, Corey. Thursday night, it's Fader night. I've gotten the week behind me, a week of shows, and I get to Thursday night, and I just get to relax, and it is just a fun evening for me. So I'm in a great mood. I'm always in a great mood. How's
Awesome.
life in Corey world?
Super busy. Super busy. We've been working on a lot of different projects that are finally coming to fruition, and one of them is Above Majestic, which is actually going to be distributed worldwide at the end of October.
At the end of October. Well, congratulations on that. I've seen it, and I haven't seen the final versions of it, but
It's a lot different now.
Oh, I'm sure it is. You guys have been cranking on it, and Roger is very talented. I'm sure that he is making this thing the best that it can be. So that's exciting. So the end of October. Wow.
Yeah. And I thought perfect time to carve out half an hour or so to talk with you about the Q drop.
Yeah.
Discussing the secret space program. I mean, the coincidence, that occurs, and that a little over a month away is the release of our movie, and I think a lot of other information is starting to come out. Maybe some documents here soon as well. So, yeah, these are exciting times.
Well, for those out there that don't know what we're talking about, QAnon. Yesterday, these posts went out. This question was posted to QAnon, and these were the questions. The post was: did NASA fake the moon landings? Have we been to the moon since then? Are there any secret space programs? And why is the Space Force created? And QAnon's answer, which I think surprised everybody, including myself, was this: false. Moon landings are real. Programs exist that are outside of public domain. Signed it, Q. Okay, I want to pick this stuff apart, but before we do that, for the uninitiated, who is QAnon?
Well, QAnon it's been kind of a big enigma. The information that I've received in the background is that it was originally started up by a group of former military intelligence that were closely connected to members of the executive branch, and that they were. It was a campaign to not only disseminate information to other, alliance groups, but also to here and there throw off the cabal or the deep state with misinformation.
And does anybody know? Okay, a couple of quick questions. Nobody really definitively knows who QAnon is, or do they?
Well, I'm sure there's a small group that does, but even among the alliance sources that I speak to, they widely speculate on, what group it could be. Were they NSA related? Were they Army Intel related? They all have their own theories, and they're informed theories because they've been studying counter intel for many years, and they see things that we don't see in these posts, and they're able to have a little bit more educated of a guess than we would.
Right, and there is a lot of speculation that it started off as possibly one individual that may have even been inside of the White House, and then that original poster for QAnon is no longer involved in the posting. Now it is done by a small group that may or may not be in the White House, and now may have even expanded beyond that, and is now no longer getting their information from inside sources, but is now outside of the White House. What do you think about those ideas?
I'd heard similar theories out of a handful of groups, intelligence groups that I speak to, one of them, is under, the impression that it's not the same Q person making, making the posts. And from the information I received, and I don't know how they obtained this information, but that they were certain of a range of intelligence assets that would have to be involved with this, from what they've been able to profile and extrapolate from things posted and other anons that come on and bait Q with questions, sometimes like this question here. A lot of times these anons could very well be Q himself with another account prompting himself, or the group prompting itself,
right,
to answer certain questions. That's an old counterintelligence trick.
Sure it is. And, flaming, right? And so there has been a change in flavor, too, as well, in that...
Yeah, I mean...
Go
ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, there was a lot of deep state political and military information done in puzzles, by the way, everybody, just so you know, you can't just go and figure this stuff out quite easily. I have seen some of this stuff broken down, and I thought to myself, how does anybody have this kind of time, right, to go and pick this stuff apart? But and it has now started to change in its flavor and direction. And then of all things, I think catching everybody by surprise, QAnon has gone mainstream. It's gone from conspiracy circles and inside this community of ours to being spoken about out there in the mainstream media, not only mainstream media, but television and talk shows and the news. That has surprised me quite a bit, and with that, so has the flavor of these posts. They have changed, too.
This became a propaganda coup for the alliance. This was originally, from what I'm told, was meant as a tool. It was not meant for the general public. They were passing information among other groups on the board that are part of the alliance. They knew that they were being watched by the deep state asset, so they were putting out little disinfo here and there, and it was a tool. But they also knew that the community there were very deep researchers, and if they gave them little threads to pull at, they would pull. I think that this tool kind of became a phenomenon that they didn't even expect, and at this point now they're using it, as I said, for a propaganda coup.
Now, here we have what has gone down lately, not only, talking about, To the Stars Academy. I mean, that's an obvious thing, but we've got everything else that has been happening with science and revelations of exoplanets and fast radio bursts and life in the universe and the search for that and what science is doing to push things forward on both an electron level and that quantum level all the way up to true life in the universe and the things that we are finding.
And some of these DIA documents are starting to leak as well.
That's right. That's right.
To come out.
So we have all of this, and then so with this QAnon post to surface yesterday, it says to me that QAnon knows about the Apollo hoax, or the ideas behind it, right? Or what that could be, or the secret space program, or Roswell. These are things when I look at this, talking about the moon landings and have we been to the moon since, or the Space Force, or secret space programs. That's our private little world. These are things that we discuss here.
Well, this change of flavor that you were talking about in Q, you have to understand that most of the people that follow Q, their core audience, are very conservative types. The types that, if you talk about aliens, they immediately cross their fingers, hold them up, and say demons.
Right.
For this group on this propaganda platform that has that type of following to begin to start seeding this type of information, it makes me think that some some really big things have been going on in the background.
So now let's go to the answer here. The answer is from QAnon: false. Moon landing is real. Programs exist that are outside of public domain. That, as short as that is, that says an awful lot. Let's go to the first answer here: false. The moon landings are real. What do you make of that?
That they're stating that the information that they have in the intelligence groups, all of the information states that the moon landings did happen, that there was propaganda used in certain parts of it that was fake, but the actual moon landings did occur. So they're putting forth that yes, the moon landings did occur, and also being vague, being very vague, saying programs exist that are outside of public domain. So they're being vague, but my point earlier is that it very well could have been the Q group that made this, asked this question. Maybe they're trying to get the information out because, if we remember not too long ago, some of the trip codes were leaked for QAnon, and it turned out to be they were trip codes that they pulled out of different books. And some of these books were quite interesting. They were, Behold a Pale Rider, I think it was.
Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper. Yep. Right.
And then Dr. Sala's latest book on Antarctica is in there, and I believe one of David Wilcock's books is in there. So, for those trip codes to come out and this audience that I was telling you about to look and they see things, about defeating communism and all that, and then they see these books about aliens and secret space programs, it's like he's kind of manicuring that consciousness to get them ready for a certain type of information, in my opinion.
Now, when